Be like, if I manage to get through this video without calling it Dilophosaurus, I think I'm doing quite well. Hi, and welcome back to the Inside of My Head, where I wanted to look at who would win in the battle of the medium-sized theropods between the cresty and frilly Dilophosaurus and the sprinty and clawy Velociraptor. And yes, clawy is a word in Polish. I was really happy to see the Dilophosaurus make an appearance in Dominion, even if it was pretty brief. I'm glad it got to, represent. Now, first off, I just want to say that I'm no dino expert, okay? I'm a movie fan above all, and these videos are for entertainment first and foremost, and as such, I do make mistakes sometimes. Like in the last one, I mixed up the Torvosaurus with the Tarbosaurus, and fuck me, right? And that was a mistake, and I don't mind admitting that. That's fine. But in these videos, I try to figure out which would win between the creatures as they are featured in the Jurassic franchise. But I do throw in some facts about the actual RIL dinosaurs too, to compare to their fictional counterparts. What's difficult though, is that a lot of what's out there is outdated, sometimes disputed, some of it's just wrong. Like for example, I was looking at one website that on one page had one figure for the bite force of the T-Rex, and on another page had a completely different number. And this was the same website by the same writer, so it's kind of a minefield out there. So if there's anything that doesn't add up, just pop it in the comments. So let's start with the Dilophosaurus, and I have some disappointing news, folks. News that disappointed me anyway. The frills? Nope, they were made up for the movie. Could it spit venom in real life? No. But it was quite a bit bigger than what we saw in the original Jurassic Park movie, at least. Which apparently was reduced in size because Steven Spielberg thought that people would get it confused with the Velociraptor. But first discovered in Arizona in 1940, Dilophosaurus weatherilli, or two-crested lizard, was around 7 meters long, at least the largest specimen that was found was, with an estimated weight of 400 kilograms or 880 pounds, which made it the largest known land animal in North America of its time, which was a mind-blowing 193 million years ago. That's 100 million years before the T-Rex. So while it didn't have the frills, it did have crests that ran along its snout, which were probably too small and fragile for combat or hunting, but probably were to intimidate adversaries and to attract mates. You know, that old chestnut. The guy who first discovered it reckoned that it probably didn't have that powerful a bite, and thought that it was probably a scavenger rather than a predator, and that if it did kill large animals, it would have done so with its hands and feet rather than its jaws. Now, this was later disputed, so we don't know for sure. Now, when it comes to the canon Dilophosaurus in the Jurassic franchise, it's written up as being 3 meters high, 6 meters long, and weighing 1 ton, which is pretty damn big. This guy in the original must have been like a toddler. And as for its appearance in Dominion, well, it's been a couple of weeks since I saw that movie, so my memory of it is getting a little hazy, and although I do remember it being bigger than Claire, I don't remember thinking, oh wow, the Dilo is so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I don't know where these measurements, especially the weight measurement, is coming from. I know that there's some Dilophosaurus in Camp Cretaceous, but I haven't seen that, so I couldn't attest to how big they look. But anyway, I'm going to come back to the weight thing. The Dilophosaurus had strong front arms, which would have been effective in grabbing prey. It was fast too, probably with a top speed of about 30 miles per hour, but may have hunted in small packs, as we saw in Jurassic Park the game and in Camp Cretaceous, apparently. First created on Isla Sorna, it's not clear whether their ability to spew corrosive venom was intentionally given to them, or whether it was one of Dr. Wu's whoops moments, like when he realized the Indominus Rex inherited unexpected abilities from the cuttlefish DNA that he had fudged in there. But either way, the Dilophosaurus was reportedly able to spit this stuff to a distance of 6 meters away. And that's quite some ranged attack. Like, I've always wondered how cobras know to aim for the eyes when they're spitting their venom. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Like it's some memory, some sort of instinct that's embedded in their DNA and that's passed down from generation to generation. Or maybe that is just natural selection, like the dumbass cobras that are spitting venom on people's sneakers, they don't get to survive. They're not as effective at killing their opponent, so they get taken out pretty quickly, so they don't get to survive and they don't get to breed and they don't get to pass on that bullshit. Let's look at this guy's opponent, the Velociraptor. I've talked about the Atrociraptor and the Pyroraptor in these here vids, so there's bound to be some overlap, so I'm sorry if anything is repeated. But in the Jurassic franchise, the raptors are around 2 meters tall and 4 meters long, which is a meter shorter than the Dilophosaurus, which is like in terms of height, I mean, and 2 meters shorter in terms of head to tail length. The Velociraptor itself was first discovered in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia in 1923. In fact, I think I remember reading somewhere that there's never actually been one discovered outside of Asia, and it was roughly the size of a turkey. So for this video, a better comparison is going to be the Utahraptor, which is probably the most similar to what we see on screen. It was first found in 1975 in no shit Sherlock, Utah, and a large adult would have been around 7 meters long and weighed about 450 kilos. So it's very comparable to the Dilos kilos, 400 kilos. This guy's claws was estimated to be up to 9 inches long. You know what else is 9 inches long? Well, according to measuringstuff.com, 3 crayons, 3/4 of a 12-inch ruler. Wait, what the fuck? I really don't understand this website. Look at this. 9 thumbs is about inches long?
Suppose they couldn't write big fat cock.
And one amazing fossil site showed an adult Utahraptor with 4 juveniles and a hatchling, as well as an iguanodon. And it's speculated that Aladar over here had gotten bogged down in a sandpit and the Utahraptors went in for the kill before getting stuck themselves. And I mean, it's such an amazing snapshot of history, like an incredible moment in time right there. Anyway, finds like this have indicated that the Utahraptor, most likely while hunting in packs, could have preyed on animals much larger than itself, perhaps even as large as 8 meters. Or 2 tons, and even sauropods as large as 20 meters. It could also run at 25 to 35 miles an hour, and if you ran into one of these things, you were generally in for a very bad day. So let's talk about how they're portrayed in the Jurassic franchise. What strikes me most is their intelligence, being capable of setting traps and communicating with each other, and being able to run at speeds of up to 40 miles an hour, as well as their agility, which enabled them to make giant leaps so it could deliver huge slashes and gouges. And it did have quite a powerful bite, even though in real life it's said that its jaws weren't designed for crushing bones like the T-Rex was, but it was more of a gnawer. So when you put these two creatures up against each other, it's surprising how comparable they are. I think I'm gonna junk the Dilophosaurus' weight figure of 1 ton and go to its RIL figure of 400 kilos. Because I just don't believe that two creatures that are so similarly proportioned could have such a large difference in weights. But it does seem like the Dilophosaurus was the larger of the two, whilst being perhaps slightly more slender. Like if you look at the Dilophosaurus' leg here, it definitely looks longer and thinner. I mean, it's actually quite effeminate. I mean, I wonder, no, I can't. I shouldn't put it in a skirt, should I? No. Should I put it in a skirt? No. But just based on what we've seen in the movies, Velociraptor probably takes this. We've seen its speed, its agility, its dexterity, its intelligence, i.e. its ability to communicate and think tactically. It goes after larger prey, but of course, you have to bear in mind that this is all really because of its starring role, like we've just seen more of it. And especially in the case of Blue, it's been given a certain amount of plot armor too. But once you take that hero factor away, it's a pretty balanced fight, with only the venom spitting ability separating the two. And that is a pretty big deal. If the Dilophosaurus can hit the raptor at up to 6 meters away, it can inflict quite a bit of damage before the raptor even gets anywhere near. And that's not even a shot to the eyes. I'm just talking about splashing this stuff on its skin, which in most cases would probably deter the raptor from attacking in the first place. If it did manage to get a shot in the eyes, I reckon it's all over and the raptor is dead meat. The raptor runs around squealing like a piggy, running headfirst into trees, wishing they would hurry up and invent eye drops. So you might think the Dilophosaurus is bigger, only a little bit, but bigger, and can spit venom. It must win, right? I'm not so sure, because in my book, anything but a shot to the eyes leaves the Dilophosaurus open. I'm just thinking that hitting an object moving at 30 or 40 miles an hour in its eyes, which are what, like the size of a grape, a tennis ball? Ping pong ball, tennis ball, some kind of ball. And even though it fires this stuff out kind of like a shotgun would, it's still really going to be hard to pull off. For example, Usain Bolt runs at 27 miles an hour, and if you ever try spitting in his eyes, it's probably more difficult than you think. And even if it does blast its venom all over the raptor's skin, the raptor's still going to be able to attack. And I could be wrong here, but I'm fairly sure that once it spat out one load of venom, it would take its body a little while to generate the next. Maybe only 10 to 30 seconds, I don't know, but when you've got two creatures that move this fast, that's considerable. So any little pause allows the raptor to close the distance, and then, well, I'm saying the Velociraptor's claws are just too savage a weapon. Too long, too sharp, and considering they're mounted on the thing's hind legs, which is the most powerful part of the creature's body, these things are going to go through like a filleting knife. Those frills might even become more of a hindrance than anything, even when they're folded away. They're probably pretty fragile, and grabbing these things and ripping them off is an easy way for the raptor's jaws to inflict a hell load of pain. So if he misses and lets the Velociraptor close the distance, the raptor makes the Dilophosaurus into a blood fountain, and the raptor takes the win. But that's just my opinion, guys. Get your thoughts in the comments. I always love hearing the different points of view. If I've forgotten anything, just pop it in there. And as always, let me know if there are any matchups, dinosaur or otherwise, that you would like to talk about.